to next.
So, Kate,
The United Cajun Navy had told to Nancy Grace, and it was reported in People magazine. Activists and investigators said were told the same thing, that Nolan was found face down, fully clothed. And so I said that is significant to us, because if that's true, then when did he put on his shirt? All the photographs we saw in the videos, he was shirtless with just swimming trunks on. And so we were saying, who knows when he put on the shirt? Somebody knows something. People know something about why Nolan Wells is dead. I mean, there were 300, 400 people out there. Look at all the people on the video. You mean this 18-year-old, superbly fit college football player drowns, as you want us to believe, and nobody sees anything? I mean, it flies in the face of common sense. And so Governor Tate Reeves then takes to the press to accuse me and Reverend Al Sharpton of causing racial tensions in Mississippi, because we continue to say we're not going anywhere until we find out what happened to Nolan Wells. And then he says, well, Attorney Crump was caught in another lie. And I'm like confused. And he says, because the United Cajun Navy said that Crump is misconstruing our words. We don't misconstrue our words, or whatever they tried to say about him being face down, fully clothed when they found him. And so, April, we came with receipts. And we said, Governor Tate with Nina Simone song playing, her iconic song about Mississippi playing in the background. Governor Reeves Tate, where is the lie? We have the interview of Nancy Grace and the president of the United Cajun Navy talking about they found Nolan face down, fully clothed. And so I think what they're trying to do is distract us. So our response was very direct, that no. It can't be a lie if we're quoting his exact words and we have the evidence of him saying it. Cannot be a lie.
Right, all right. Welcome to Fearen Fear Files, where we explore and question what's real and what's not. But today I got some real good videos for you, and we're uncovering a lot of things that's going on with this Nolan Wild. You know what I'm saying? So Nolan Wells case, and we got a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, throwing stuff in there at each other. So let's check these videos out and see what we got. Without further ado, let's get to it.
Nolan Wells' case is pressure, and all of his friends is finding out they're not diamonds in the rough, because the cover-up is beginning to crack. Let's talk about it. Nolan Wells' quote-unquote friends is saying fuck the police and starting to do their own thing. Because yesterday, remember, Bart's family hired an attorney and a private investigator to go after the internet investigators. Now today, Warren's family has contacted TMZ to put out their $50,000 reward. Now, why is that? They were just working with the police. Oh, that's right. They hired Officer Tatum. They thought he was going to get us to quiet down. So now they got to use their own tactic because that didn't work. Mr. Tatum, bring your ass to the front. You want to talk about people don't know about boats? Let's talk about this boat. See, y'all so damn dumb. Y'all keep spilling shit out your mouth that people ain't even focused on. Let's talk about this boat. Okay? The call into CETO said the bilge pump was not working and water was entering the boat. Now, if the bilge pump is not working and water is entering the boat, why in the hell and Don't forget that they're in 31 feet of water, according to the CETO call. Why in the hell would you get in and pull the plug? Wouldn't that make water come into the boat and make you sink in that 31 feet of water? 1 point. That was for Mr. Tatum with his dumb ass. Bam. Second point. Shout out to Big Kish over on YouTube. His explanation of who the hell pulled the plug, because we got conflicting information. But Tatum brought this boat up.
Amongst them, the statement said he piloted his own boat to Horn Island and piloted his own boat home when a nearby boat suffered a mechanical malfunction on the afternoon of the 4th. Bart Jr. gave advice and direct aid to the distressed vessel. As a part of this, he boarded the distressed vessel. He boarded the distressed vessel,
like they
removed its transform plug,
Like
its transom plug. He removed the damn plug.
There, you know?
It says Bart said he removed the plug, got back onto his boat, and towed the distressed vessel for a short distance. These actions allowed water that had accumulated on the distressed vessel to drain. So it says Bart removed the plug. Watch this.
When did you feel like, well, wait a minute, where's Nolan?
Right, okay. Well, running in was very chaotic. I mean, Nolan chose to stay on the island, so my focus wasn't on anything else other than the boat, you know, because if the boat doesn't get in, then no one gets in, you know. I don't want to sink out there on my buddy's boat, and no one does, but my buddy Wyatt jumped out and pulled the plug on the boat when...
Oh! That's not what we just read. We didn't just read that Wyatt pulled the plug. What the hell did we just read? Because he said Wyatt pulled the plug.
My buddy Wyatt jumped out and pulled the plug on the boat.
What we just read is Bart Jr. gave advice and direct aid to the distressed vessel. As part of this, he boarded the distressed vessel, removed its transom plug, got back into his boat. So he said he removed the transom plug.
My buddy Wyatt jumped out and pulled the plug on the boat once we kind of got out there.
So who was it? Was it Wyatt or was it Bart, the one who claimed that he wasn't even there in the first place?
Mr. Tatum, see, you opened up a whole nother can of worms. The CETO audio that you said that we didn't know what we were listening to. We were listening to that background. But you accused us of not knowing about boats. So I said, let me check on this boat information. And lo and behold, the CETO call stated they had a failed bilge pump. And they were in 31 feet of water, meaning, and they were going down, they were sinking, water was entering the boat. But if you pull the plug,
she pretty much
in 31 feet of water,
she studied.
It's going to sink the boat even more. Tatum, the boat professional, as I told them, y'all paid the wrong coon. This wasn't the one. Then on top of that, you got two different people. You got the newspaper reporting that Bart pulled the plug. Then you got Warren going on Tatum's show saying Wyatt pulled the plug. Who the hell pulled the plug? When I tell you this case will not be covered up, no, not this time. We're not in it for clicks and views. We're in it to get justice for Nolan Wells. So you tell me, did the call to CETO sound like a distress call where a boat was sinking, or did it sound like an alibi? Like I said, Nolan Wells' case is pressure. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you will be alerted the next time I upload a new video. And don't forget to follow me for more controversial topics.
I'll be real. That woman gave a 30-minute breakdown of what damn it Bart, of what 2 words, damn it Bart means, bruh. After that deconstruction, man, Bart came with a cease and desist and 20 names for us, man. So we got to give that white woman credit, bruh. Because after that white woman, Bart came and gave us 20 names. Why you ain't have the 20 names before the audio drop? Why all of a sudden we got to hear, damn it, Bart, for us to get a legal counsel, for us to get cease and desist letters, for us to get 20 different names? I said, cuh. Bro, I feel bad for anybody who committed a crime near Bart ever in life. And I'm not even talking about this like Nolan Wall situation. I'm not even discussing this Nolan Wall situation when it comes to Bart. I'm talking about, I feel bad for anybody who has ever done a crime near Bart ever in life. Ever. Because the way Bart folded this fast, Bart ain't holding water for nobody, man. Bart told them boys, listen, man, I could be a 6th round, 7th round, 5th round draft pick next year, man, making a solid $1.5 million a year, man. All right? I'm not ruining that for nobody at all. But I'll be real, though. I don't even blame Bart because before the audio, we knew of Bart's name before the audio because of who? Because of Warren. Warren came on Officer Tatum's channel and name dropped Bart. So as far as we know it, bro, Bart seen the writing on the wall. Bart already seen, man, listen, man, they getting ready to squeal, and Bart just squealed first. They was ready to squeal, and all Bart did was, man, Bart just squealed first, man. Bart said, hey, bro, these folks getting ready to tell a bold lot on me, man. We got to get ahead of the story, man. These boys already name dropping me in interviews before anybody knew who I was. But the one homie who's having a bad day today, and we're going to back up real quick, right? We're going to back up real quick, okay? Before we get to Bart and Warren, the autopsy is today, okay? The autopsy is today. Before we get to that, we have to rewind real quick and get to the other black friend. Y'all know who I'm talking about. If you guys don't know, man, Nolan Wall's parents, they went ape. They went hysterical. They went crazy on his black friend. Fam, Nolan Wall's parents are finally fighting back, and they are exposing the black friend. You know, Tristan, my black family was not there for me ever in life. These good white folks raised me. Tristan finally got the response he's been waiting for from Nolan Wall's family. Now, the family responded back to Tristan's interview with Benjamin Crump. With Officer Tatum, not Benjamin Crump. See, during this interview, Tristan, who claimed Nolan Walls was his best friend, took the opportunity to go at his mama and his parents.
See, they must think we're not paying attention. But ever since CERN shut down, things have been totally different. Case in point, who is this man right here? And after you tell me who he is, because I know everybody knows his name, I want you to tell me how his last name is spelled. So for those of you that don't know, this is a famous American pastor. His first name is Joel, and his last name is Osteen. At least that was his last name years ago. But right now, they're saying that his last name isn't the same last name that we all know it is. Now, if you know him, you know for sure that his last name had an L in it. Olsteen. But ever since that hydrogen collider machine shut off, this is what they're saying his last name is now. But you're going to have a lot of people say, that is his last name. His last name never had an L in it. Well, if that's the case, then what is this? And don't tell me this is a computer error. See, what it is anything that's digital can be altered. It can be changed. But one thing you can't control is computer error. Why is the L here and the L isn't here? And we can go down a couple of rabbit holes of things that happened since CERN shut down. Fruit of the Loom Cornucopia, Chick-fil-A K, Bernstein Bears, and the list goes on. But the question I need to ask you is, why do you think they're doing this? Or do you think we jump timelines? I know what I think. Tell me what you think in the comments. I'm out. That man that said he was kidnapped by dolphins had to be telling the truth. The man that said he was kidnapped by dolphins, taken underwater, and forced to build an underwater city had to be telling the truth. How is a dolphin smart enough to pick up a fish, throw it at a man out of water, and start laughing? Look at this shit. A man was walking by someplace where a dolphin was at. A dolphin picked up a fish, threw the fish at the man, and laughed. Look. You hear him laughing?
Dolphin just for a fisherman. That wasn't no dolphin.
The dolphin is laughing.
Hey,
this is slow motion.
I believe that was a mermaid.
The dolphin
had to be a mermaid.
threw a fish at a man and then started laughing. Look at the fish. Everybody thinks sharks are the monsters. But what if I told you you've been looking at the wrong animal this whole time? Because dolphins might be one of the smartest creatures on this planet. One of the most violent creatures on this planet. I can tell you things about dolphins that you won't even believe. How about the fact that the United States government uses dolphins to arrest people? They train dolphins to follow ships, and if divers jump off that ship in unauthorized areas, you are getting locked up. So when you see a dolphin throw a fish at a man and laugh, it's not abnormal. Let's go back to the 1960s when NASA had done research into dolphin communication. They believed that dolphins are intelligent enough to communicate with human beings. Mind you, this was in the 1960s. Do you know what they're probably capable of now? Not to mention, one of the most famous dolphin experiments is when a woman was literally living with a dolphin. We're talking about for months. Tried to teach it English, trying to see if it could understand us. And that dolphin, Peter, fell in love with her. And ask yourself this: why would the government spend millions of dollars studying the language of an animal? These dolphins are smarter than you think. I believe that, man.
I've heard a few people mention Brandon Tatum before, and I never gave a fuck to search. But after seeing this video last night, I can understand why motherfuckers don't fuck with him.
With you, just from a law enforcement perspective, what do you make of the timeline, the lack of answers, what maybe occurred here?
Well, I think the first thing is that these activists came in and brought in information or lies about circumstances to make people question. The law enforcement officers have already done an autopsy. They've already investigated. There's no sign of foul play. And one thing that's very interesting that I just found out recently is that it wasn't a situation where you have Nolan Wells and 4 of the kids at an island. There's thousands of people there. There's hundreds of different boats. So him staying behind while some of his other friends went back to the mainland wasn't that suspicious. I really wish that the family would focus on Nolan Wells' life, focus on the investigation, and let the police do their job instead of interjecting race into this situation. It is completely unnecessary to be there at this point.
Who in the fuck is this nigga? They say he was a cop? Like, how can you not suspect foul play when none of the people that was present can agree on what the fuck actually happened? Or the fact that one person said he went back and another person said he stayed on the island. The fact that his cell phone messages got deleted the day that his body was discovered. Or the fact that if he did stay behind, why didn't he have his phone, even though his mom and dad told him to always stay with your group? This picture right here tells 1,000 words. And just cause you fuck with one, don't mean you will ever be one. Count me out.
If you're black and don't know who Walter Plecker is, listen close. Because what he did changed history. No, literally. Most people think history is only changed by battles or elections. But here's the part people miss. Sometimes history is changed with a pen. Check this out.
All right, racist.
A message for all the racist people out there. You can't antagonize black people and then get upset when we get upset.
We had to get one more in before the year ends. Walter Ashby Plecker. Who was he? From 1912 to 1946, Walter Plecker was the first registrar of Virginia's Bureau of Vital Statistics, the place we all go to get our birth and death certificate. He was a white supremacist, a eugenicist, and a man with the bureaucratic power to reshape history with the stroke of a pen. And you want to guess what this soulless piece of shit did? He fulfilled his life mission, as he stated, which was to preserve the purity of the white race. So to save the white race, he decided to use the little fragment of a brain he had and jealously destroy the identity of the indigenous race of America. He achieved this through the Racial Integrity Act of 1924, which he helped craft and enforce. You heard that right. Only 99 years ago did this happen. Plecker created a binary racial system in Virginia. There was only white and colored. The people he was aggressively targeting for erasure were the true dark-skinned indigenous people of Virginia. These were the communities that had been there for millennia, the original Algonquian and Siouan peoples. These were the American Indians. Plecker's system forced these indigenous people into a single colored category on birth and marriage certificates. He systematically stripped them of their legal Indian identity. But he didn't just deny their identity. He reclassified the American Indian as black through birth, death, marriage records. Plecker reclassified thousands of indigenous Americans, particularly the Powhatan-descended tribes of Eastern Virginia. He reclassified them as black, colored, Negro, or mulatto. This erased their legal tribal status and blocked future generations from reclaiming it. Plecker sent threatening letters to midwives and counties, warning them not to list Indian on any certificates. He worked to deny land, tribal rights, and access to education. And why do the so-called Native Americans of today refuse to acknowledge this? Because the true victims of Plecker's genocide of paperwork are the Black Americans, who are the true indigenous substrate of this land. The people who call themselves Native Americans are largely the descendants of later arriving Siberian groups, and they were not Plecker's primary target. So when they speak about a paper genocide, they're speaking about the genocide of Black Americans. The more we study and learn, the more we realize the layers to the Native American origin story has holes. And we're all aware that you guys know the truth. When I asked you for the truth, I knew you wouldn't tell it. However, that doesn't mean that people aren't going to do the work and find the truth for themselves. Because this is all public information.
Our history was changed on paper. The effects have lasted for generations. It's up to us now to start waking up to the truth. Foundational Black Americans are the true Americans. Share this with somebody so that we can spread the truth.
Surprise, motherfucker! A man tried to lure a boy into a bathroom with $100, but was caught by the boy's father, who knocked him unconscious. In June, at a public bathhouse, 27-year-old Noah Wilson attempted to lure a young child into a bathroom with $100, but was caught by the boy's 39-year-old father, Lucas Davis, who then stormed into the bathroom in a rage. Lucas shouted at him, "What are you trying to do to my son?" But Noah showed no sign of realizing the seriousness of the situation and continued to taunt him. The confrontation quickly escalated, and Lucas, enraged, punched him hard in the face. During the altercation, Noah tried to flee but was yanked back through the doorway by Lucas, who then grabbed him from behind by the neck and wouldn't let go until bystanders intervened. When the police arrived at the scene, they took Noah to the hospital and arrested Lucas. At the hospital, Noah was diagnosed with a fractured brow bone and a severe concussion. A few days later, Noah filed a lawsuit against Lucas, claiming that he had merely been joking with the child, had no intention of harming him, and had suffered physical injury as a result. The case is currently under further investigation. Many people believe that this father was right to protect his child. If your child were lured away, what would you do?
Come on now. Y'all know better.
Watch this.
Behind me, you can see one of 17 alien-based caves, which enters into what we are almost 99% sure is the entry point to Agartha.
They killed this man.
This underground civilization, said to exist within the Earth's core, was first discovered by one of Christopher Columbus's disgruntled cronies. His former co-captain, Shepherd Charlemagne, allegedly led an expedition 13 miles into this exact Antarctic snow cave on the night of April 30th, 1886. He claimed to find a mythical subterranean kingdom inhabited by enlightened lizard-like beings. Today, this so-called Hollow Earth, aka Agartha, is rumored to be a preferred vacation destination for the global elites.
Oliver Tree is gone, but before he died, he went to Antarctica. And he didn't just see the famous ice wall, he climbed it. He claimed he discovered a pyramid down there. It was likely created by an ancient society 10, 15, or maybe 20,000 years ago. But that is not the scary detail that made him stay. Right behind him, he noticed 5 different entry points. He truly assumed they led straight into an alien facility. A dark tunnel network that reportedly goes directly into Agartha, an unknown world rumored to survive deep inside our planet. He recorded every single detail. A complete terrifying movie. No one has ever watched it. If you like deeply disturbing videos, follow me, or we may never see each other again.
You motherfuckers keep talking about don't make this about race. But if the roles were reversed and it was 3 black boys, 1 white boy, that white boy didn't make it home, them 3 black boys did, them motherfuckers would have been prime suspect number 1. And on top of that, lawyer up, make their accounts private, and not cooperate with the police, y'all want them motherfuckers underneath the jail cell. But since some people can't understand because it's coming from us, maybe you'll understand it if it's coming from one of your people.
That young black man who got on a boat with what he thought were 3 white friends and didn't return home. That's us. That's us pretending to be a safe space. And then when it's just convenient, that person doesn't matter to us. We don't care that we didn't come home with them. We don't know where they were. That's why, okay? That's why. And until you can see that.
Just imagine if he decided not to go out on that boat to go celebrate the 4th of July. He would still be alive. Now, I'm not going to say they did it, but they are prime suspect number 1 because they was the last people to see him. They left with him, but didn't return with them. Count me out.
So y'all, now the governor of Mississippi is mad. He's talking about he want Al Sharpton and Ben Crump out of his state. Talking about he gonna kick them out if they don't stop talking about Nolan Wells. See, I'm gonna tell you what it is. He wants us to be quiet. He wants them to be quiet. He wants them off the case so that they can go ahead and rule it as a drowning, which is what they want. So they can go ahead and tell Nolan's parents to get on out of there and leave them alone. But no, it's not gonna happen. We're gonna keep his name alive. And we're going to keep on talking about what we see as inconsistencies in this boy's story, because we all know Warren done got on this internet and lied. But it's so funny because that's what y'all want us to do. Like, whenever we get to speaking facts and, you know, exposing y'all, now you want to make us be quiet because you don't want it to get out. Warren is guilty. They unalived
They get scared.
Nolan.
When black folks
As a matter of fact, you can hear the audio that's on that boat.
We speaking up and we standing up for Nolan.
They did something to Nolan.
More than just one case, you know what I'm saying? It's more than just
when the white boys killed Nolan Wells, they didn't expect that like everybody in the nation was finna hear about that shit. I mean, honestly, it's crazy that like, especially in recent time when a lot of folks saw the interview of Nolan Wells' parents, and they talked about how they don't see race, they don't see color. That did strike me like, what the fuck? But even with them having that perspective, the racism has warped the world so bad that the burden of protection is on us, because white people are still set in their cannibal ways, that we have to arm ourselves against their teeth. The same way you try to arm your daughters with restrictions or practices so that they can be safer against men that are seeking to hurt them. But it doesn't matter, because there are men seeking to hurt them, to push boundaries, to take it there. Like, as odd as it could be to hear of black people in Mississippi that don't see race, that's common here. Like, just because you black and you stay in Mississippi, it doesn't make you woke. There are people that are willing to look past race or act like racism don't exist for the sake of obtaining status. You see about coons for a reason. You act like there haven't been other tools for survival aside from the pro-black tools. Some of them are just anti-black tools that niggas use to survive. It's fucked up, but that's the choice that they make. But even still, as much as a motherfucker can get on them like, oh, why would you hang out with them white boys and do this and do that? Because, mind you, Carmelo Anthony just got sentenced 35 years. They went fast to put that boy in jail. That should have told any man my age. Don't kick it with them white boys alone. Don't kick it with them white boys alone. Don't let them get you alone off camera. But difference here is Nolan Wells considered them white boys friends. That's why that photo is so ominous, especially when it echoes the sentiments of a black mom that was on a sleepover with hella white women and she ended up dead. And now everybody talks about how Nolan Wells' mom looks like Emmett Till's mom. So now we reliving the same situation as before, that honestly Emmett Till would serve as
no comparison,
a cautionary tale, or at least his death and the residual effects, especially how it ignited the civil rights movement. Like, you as a black man would grow up hearing about this story, and you would take that and you would keep that close. And Emmett Till wasn't even kicking it with white folks. He just gestured at a white girl and she did not take that shit well. Lied on his ass. Nolan Wells died surrounded by people he thought were friends. He genuinely with his heart trusted them people, and only realized it as soon as he's losing breath, losing life. These people don't give a fuck about me, and I've been around you forever. and this affected any bit of love or consideration he could have given them just before shit went south. All that consideration he's given them, they couldn't even extend to him after he dies. And that's another thing. These white people have judicial power, whether they're tangentially connected to the courts by relation or through social bridges. They have institutional power.
I listen to a lot.
They are incentivized to lie, to strong arm black families into silence.
They really don't know.
Just cause your kinfolk die here don't mean you just get to fuck up and move. That takes bread. And if you try to advocate for your soul folk, they might kill you too. So of course, a motherfucker get on TV knowing they still stay in Mississippi and say, I don't see color. I wouldn't do that. But I can at least make sense of the decision, because the people to be blamed are the motherfuckers quiet. Ain't said a word online. And they know who they are, because they still watching us, waiting for us to stop talking about it.
Brandon Tatum's one of, some people see the world through rose-colored glasses. He sees the world through nigger-colored glasses. It's always the black people fault. Remember, it was the young woman who was shot in...
Sonia Massey.
Sonia Massey. Now, this is Brandon Tatum, his take on Sonia Massey.
I'm gonna prove that she threw the pot of hot boiling water that would have scalded these police officers. She threw it at them before she was shot.
Now, and that is always his take. His take is always that the black person has fault. But the thing that was interesting about this particular case is not only in 11 hours did the jury turn in a guilty verdict, but the police officer's partner, the one who was the closest to the scene, said she never posed a threat and testified against his partner. So he has this penchant for looking at black things under the auspices of being an expert. He has this penchant, like he's a guy who was I guess close to associated with Turning Point, is a big Charlie Kirk fan. When Charlie Kirk died, they wouldn't even let me speak at the funeral. He's a guy who said that he wouldn't cry if his son died, but cry for Charlie Kirk. You imagine how bad you hate black people when your son dies and you won't cry for him, but you'll cry for the white dude who you admire.
I would never cry for my wife.
Really?
I just wouldn't.
What if your kid died?
That's a different thing. I mean, I would try not to cry for my wife if my kid died.
You won't cry for your seed, but you'll cry for your savior. And then he said, he said that he agreed that black people were better off during slavery, which is weird, because if that were the case, you wouldn't have the white wife you have. I just think he does a lot of things that are just unexplainable. And the fact that he went to Mississippi to interview the people, my whole problem with this, I can't tell you what happened to those people. But we do know a couple of things. When they got off their island, they cut off their social media. They had his phone and his keys. Right?
Right.
And they did not talk to the police. Like, how is it that you'll talk to the coon but not the cops? How is it that you disconnected your social media but now are being interviewed on social media? And the quest isn't to find, we don't know what happened, but I do know, I think it speaks volumes that you're more comfortable talking to the black cop, ex-cop from Arizona than you are the cops in Mississippi. Something was happening. The very point it is supposed to be uncomfortable when somebody in your charge comes up missing. You're not supposed to have a sterile, pristine environment. You're supposed to have to ask tough questions because somebody's dead and they will last with you. In trials, you're guilty, innocent until proven guilty. But most police officers, who do they get first? Who they get first? The people who are intimately associated with you.
That's correct.
If you came up missing, it would be the people who you knew and the people who were with you last. But he flies there to try to make a way. I don't know if it's racist, but I don't know if racism was involved. I know that a man is dead, a young boy is dead, that people who wouldn't talk are now to you.
But this is what I don't understand. If he's not a police officer, he's not an investigator, he doesn't even live there, has no connection to Nolan Wells' family, or Nolan Wells, or any of the kids involved, Why is he there?
Because this is what he does. And you ever notice you don't ever see it's always him or that remember David Clark you never see him at the same. I think they're the same dude.
Sure. I don't think
they're
he's
the same dude.
either.
It's either him or David Clark or the shoe booty nigga from Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, it's always, but you never see him at the same time. But his thing is he has to find a
shoe
new white dude
booty
nuts to
nigga.
hang from because Charlie Kirk is gone.
Yeah.
He really does. They should call him Jockey Balboa. It's ridiculous the way that he inserts himself. And he says he's doing it because, you know, of Ben Crump and because of Al Sharpton. What I hope for him, I hope that nothing ever happened to his mixed race children. I hope that he never has to deal with the kind of tragedy that this family is. But if that ever happens, I hope they never have a black man like him involved in it. A black man like him. My prayer for his children is that A, nothing ever befalls them, but if they do, they never have to deal with a black man like him.
Starting to fall apart. See, one thing about lies is you will always have to tell another lie to cover up your first lie. Then you got to remember all of the lies you begin to tell. But the truth is slowly starting to come out. It's slowly starting to show that all of this was a cover-up. That Nolan left that island and he was possibly alive. Based off of this picture, this was that night. He was alive. And based off, I done went down a rabbit hole. I done seen some type of group chat and they talking about it was an altercation at the pool party when they got back and Nolan was recording on his phone and they didn't realize he was recording on his phone. Now take this with a grain of salt. You know, people are talking. People are saying things now. So take this with a grain of salt. Apparently, if the autopsy comes back, this person said that he was struck with a pole, a pipe, something like that. He was struck and he was actually killed at this house party, whatever it was. This person that this picture is on, I went to their page. I'm like, let me go see. Let me go see. That post is gone now. It's gone. But now his comments are off. His comments are off. This shit will hit the fan. The truth will come out. You can't keep, there's too many people involved for y'all to keep trying to lie. So now everybody has to know the lie. Not just the 4 friends who he came back with, who lawyered up immediately and all those things. Everybody who were involved, who witnessed this, has to know the same lie now. So this is where you start tripping up. And I hope you all go down for it. I hope everything you have is taken from you. I hope this is fucked up. Y'all know, in that moment, instead of some shit happening and y'all said, oh, this shit was an accident, and you're reporting it as is, you try to cover it up. You do some inhumane shit. You do whatever with his body the night of. Then you take it back and drop it off. Like he was nothing. Like he was. I hate that I'm so invested in this goddamn story because it's pissing me off. I'm talking about pissing me off. And I can only feel for the parents because I will be ready to kill everything moving that came in contact with my kid on that particular day. The kids and the fucking parents. This and the cover-ups. You're trying to keep covering it up. It's going to come out. And I want y'all to burn. In the next couple days, I'm pretty sure more and more and more shit is going to come out. It's gonna come out and it's gonna back you up into a corner where you ain't got no choice but to tell the truth, because the truth is gonna be it's gonna be so obvious that you ain't got no choice, and everybody gonna know that everything y'all said was a fucking lie. Everything. I think they forgot about the kid that had that post. That's why somebody was able to screenshot a picture of his post. They didn't think to get in contact with him. They ain't even know he probably even did that. They probably was stuff, and who knows? They probably won't even think about him at all. They're like, oh shit. It was a picture out there showing that he was with us the night of. Because apparently y'all ain't see him since 3 o'clock that day. This picture is nighttime. This picture is in the nighttime. Y'all will pay for this shit. Nolan will get justice. There will be justice. They really thought this was some movie type shit where you can just do some shit, sweep it under a rug, lie and get away with it. Y'all must ain't know. We gonna hold y'all feet to the goddamn fire. We will. This shit got me so hot. I really can't explain it. I really can't explain how upset y'all know though. The people that understand, you know, this shit is somebody's worst nightmare. Somebody's worst nightmare. The parents gotta keep reliving that night. They gotta keep reliving that night because it's all, and they gotta put all these pieces together and try to see what's what because there's a bunch of fucking lies going on. I just hope the truth come out real soon. It's coming. I can feel it. It's coming.
Since nobody else want to say it and everybody want to act like they ignoring their intuition, I'm going to be the one to say it. Most of them black people that's been found hanging this year has been hung by cops. Yes, by the police. These cases are closing as soon as they open. Most of them are being ruled, almost all of them are being ruled a suicide. It don't matter if their arms is broken, if their shoulder was dislocated, if they was 9 feet high, if they was beaten first. All of them, most of them are being ruled off as suicides. Like I said, as soon as these cases are open, they are closed, shut. So like I said, we could keep acting like we ignoring the truth. We know who are hanging these. Y'all act like y'all don't know it's Ku Klux Klan members in every precinct. And if it's not none in the precinct, it's one running the precinct. Yo, call outside the lines, babe.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Ahmadai Shakur. So this whole situation with Nolan Wells' case is getting more and more out of hand every day. Let's get into it. So first, let's start with the fact that Warren sat there on that interview with Rage Batum Tatum and said that he was the one that got in touch with the Coast Guard. Okay, but then they also said that Bart had been in Wyoming for the whole year and wasn't at Horn Island. Now we find out that he absolutely was there because we heard him in the audio in the background, and then he was talking really loud, and then someone said, "Damn it, Bart." So yeah, we know that Bart was on that boat. Okay, please pay attention. But not only that, Warren said in the interview with Tatum, he mentioned Bart was the one who pulled their boat. Now, I don't believe anybody pulled their boat because I don't believe the boat was ever in distress. That was just her alibi, like I told you all days ago. Okay, so please pay attention. And now that the Coast Guard report has come out, we see that Bart's name is on the Coast Guard report. So Warren, why did you lie? Okay, Bart Joseph Edmiston Jr., that's the name on the Coast Guard report. I find that all very interesting. But also, Rage Batum Tatum is out here saying that Nolan was on illegal substances, that he was taking Coca-Cola, and that he also they're also saying that he was drinking heavily. And I want to know how they know that he was drinking so heavily when the toxicology report hasn't even come out. But the other thing I want to know is how in the world Rage Batum Tatum is saying that someone told him, some credible source according to him, said that they know for a fact that when the toxicology report comes out, it's going to 100% say that Nolan was doing illegal substances. Now, funny thing is, if the toxicology report hasn't come out, how could anybody know 100% what's going to be on it? Okay, please pay attention. I'm just wondering if somebody injected him with something, if someone put something in his drink. I don't know, because how could they be so certain? But I also know that Warren Hudson's father, Dr. Benjamin Hudson, deals in toxicology. Okay, he deals in toxicology. That's one of his subspecialties. Okay, please pay attention. And now they're out here trying to even debunk the audio, saying that what we think we heard in the background is not what we actually heard. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. The cover-up is deep. Now, I want to shout out Janetta Bradley, the audio engineer, who actually cleaned up that audio and then posted it. But Rage Batum Tatum is going in on her, acting like she just made this all up and it's not even real. Okay, please pay attention. Quite frankly, I think that Bart was absolutely jealous of Nolan because he wanted to be viewed and seen as the hometown hero, just like his father was when his father played football previously. And then the fact that Nolan was supposed to start training for football, for D1 football on that Monday, I think that absolutely he felt like Nolan was going to start taking away some of his shine. Not to mention the rumors about Bart supposedly dating Katie McCormick, the same young lady that took a liking to Nolan on the 4th of July. Okay, please pay attention. Mind you, this is all speculation at this point. We don't know if any of these things are true. Well, we know that some of them are absolutely true because we all know what we heard and we all know what we saw in the Coast Guard report at the end of the day. The rest of it is simply speculation, but I think that it's all adding up and making a whole lot of sense, and we can definitely see the cover up, and there's so many people involved in it, in my opinion. Okay, please pay attention. Now, I don't know how much money they gave Rage Batum Tatum to come down there to Mississippi to conduct this fraudulent interview, and I'm calling it fraudulent because a lot of lies were told and a lot of narratives were painted. At the end of the day, I think that someone is giving him some money to do this. Not to mention he's getting monetized for putting all this crap out there because the MAGA minions, they absolutely love it. Okay, this goes along with their narrative. They don't want justice. They just want to make sure that people who look like them don't get any consequences for possibly taking out people or a person who looks like me. Please pay attention. You know, this is all what I like to call the Judas effect. Okay, remember how Judas betrayed Jesus with a kiss on the cheek when the Roman soldiers came to arrest him? At the end of the day, that's exactly what this looks like to me. Okay, it looks like a bunch of frenemies, not real friends, but a bunch of frenemies were around Nolan. The only real friend of his was probably Javon. That's the one who went to the funeral, was a pallbearer at the funeral, the one who came out and said nice things about him on social media. But at the end of the day, all these other people, I think they were fakes and frauds. And I don't think that they were ever so close to Nolan as they want us to think. And the fact that Warren Hudson and both he and Trayston Shepard have said they were both best friends of Nolan's. And then this is what they do. They get on this interview with Rage Batum Tatum and basically call Christine Wansley a liar. Okay? When she said that she didn't know him. When she said she didn't know Trayston. And he's talking about, oh, I parked my car at her house plenty of times. Well, because you park your car at someone's house does not mean that you know them. Okay, please pay attention. I also find it interesting that in the interview, Warren said that he told Nolan's mom that they had the cell phone. Okay, I don't believe that at all, because why would she have said that she needed to track the phone? See, what they're doing, people, please pay attention, is they're setting up reasonable doubt. Okay, that's exactly what they're doing. They're muddying the waters and they're trying to control the narrative. That's why they came out and got Officer Rage Batum Tatum to do those interviews. Okay, please pay attention. I also believe that Bart is absolutely the one that did something to Nolan. Okay, I absolutely believe it. I can't prove it, but I absolutely believe it because, in my opinion, he had the motive, the means, and the opportunity. Please pay attention. And I absolutely don't believe that Nolan was doing any sort of illegal substances, because at the end of the day, D1 football players, they get rug tested year round, not only from the NCAA, but also from their individual universities. Okay, so please pay attention. The lies are getting heavy.
Watch this.
Probably because that little one looks like an entry 4 paper. The one on the right, that small one, that's probably for a scholarship. Get a close up of that. What I'd give to get a chance to go up in there. Are you fucking kidding? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count 5 different entry points to this alien base. This is the reason why I've stayed in Antarctica.
Well, that's all I have for you for today. And I hope that you liked it, what I had. You know what I'm saying? If you do, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel, you know, at Fearen Fear Files. And let's keep this thing going. Let's keep rolling. Let's get this algorithm rolling. Let's get some more subscribers in here. Let's get it up. Let's get it up. All right. Stay tuned for the next video.